Hello everybody, I'm Cavetown, the Pop Song Professor, and welcome to my channel where we make English class awesome by talking about song lyrics. And today we are talking about Boys Will Be Bugs by Cavetown. This is an interesting song. It's about toxic masculinity from the perspective of a young teenager who's not quite what he feels like the rest of culture wants him to be. I'm not as familiar with Robbie, aka Cavetown, as many of you guys are, but based on what I have heard from him and some of the things I've heard him say, this is not a surprising song topic to get from him. Let's talk first. Toxic masculinity. Basically, the idea of toxic masculinity is that there are two very distinct ways that the different genders operate. So you've got male, you've got female. Females are supposed to be calm, quiet, patient, caring, beautiful. Men are supposed to be strong, adventurous, rude, and awesome. I mean, women are awesome too. Yeah. So based on these established stereotypes, you end up with a lot of people who feel like they share traits that fall into either category that culture doesn't really allow them to indulge in. Really, if a lot of people had their way, gender stereotypes would look a whole lot more like that, and there'd be some overlap. And then there's a lot of other people who believe that, you know what, let's just get rid of that there, and there you go. Everybody can be whatever they want, no stereotypes, whatever. But essentially, somewhere in here, Robbie finds himself, and Boys Will Be Bugs is a song about that. Alright, we gotta draw some boys and bugs just so, you know, this all makes sense. Here's a boy, here is a bug, here's a longer but smaller bug. Alright, and the piece de resistance, an equal sign. Boys will be bugs. There you go. That's a visual representation of this song. It's so beautiful. My art astounds me, especially the fact that the bugs are bigger than the boys. That's how this works. So in the first verse, Robbie establishes kind of the problem or the situation he finds himself in. He sings, "I'm a dumb teen boy, I eat sticks and rocks and mud, I don't care about the government, and I really need a hug. I feel stupid, ugly, pretend it doesn't bother me, I'm not very strong, but I'll fuck you up if you're mean to bugs." Now he's doing two things here. Number one, he's playing into the stereotype. You know, like, I'm dumb teen boy, I eat sticks and rocks and mud, which is, you know, a fair bit of hyperbole. I don't care about the government. And then all of a sudden it gets very tender and vulnerable. I really need a hug. I feel stupid and ugly, and I pretend like it doesn't bother me, and I'm supposed to just be tough and shrug it off. And while he's kind of going through this identity crisis based on what culture is telling him what he feels, he says at the end, "I'll fuck you up if you're mean to bugs." So he has one established value that he is willing to stick by no matter what. He's gonna watch out for those bugs, and it's an interesting combination of male and female stereotype traits. One, he's protecting somebody and wanting to beat somebody up, and then on the other hand, he is, you know, being sensitive towards something much smaller than himself, which is a very good picture of him wanting to say, like, yeah, I just don't feel like I fit the stereotypes here. Let's read a selection from verse 2. "I skipped class to sit with you. I really like your spotty sweater. What's it like in a female world? I bet it's just so much better." Now, I don't know much about what Robbie identifies as or anything like that, and what he's saying here could be a reference to him wanting to identify as female, or it could just be him saying, hey, I'm a guy, but I really wish that I wasn't, and I'm kind of stuck. It's almost implied that the stereotypes that are applied to females would be ones that he would rather have than the ones that are applied to males, even though, let's be honest, women have it really bad too. Then we get into the chorus. He sings, "Don't mess with me, I'm a big boy now and I'm very scary. I punch my walls, stay out at night, and I do karate. Don't message me because I won't reply. I want to make you cry. Ain't that how it's supposed to be? Though it isn't me. Boys will be bugs, right?" Now it's confusing, but at the beginning he's basically saying there are these stereotypes. All of culture thinks, and this is going to be culture, that's a lot of people at a distance, alright? And they're all looking at these people and they're saying, you guys are going to be bugs, right? So he's saying basically, alright, fine, I'm a big boy now and I'm very scary. I punch things and I do karate and all these like stereotypical like dude things apparently. And he gets like really mean about it too, where he's like, apparently the stereotypical boy thing to do is to not reply to texts and then to make people cry. And then he concludes, that isn't me, and very sarcastically refers to boys being bugs. And that could mean a whole passel of different things. Either they're small and vulnerable, but also kind of gross, so people hold them out at arm's length. Or it could be about how like bugs are sort of an outdoors crazy thing, and you know, that's just, bugs are rough and tumble, so are boys, right? Well, it turns out in verse 3 he sings, "I have friends who understand me. Their names are Spider, Beetle, Bee. They don't say much, but they have always listened to me." And he's basically saying that he would rather go hang out with bugs than hang out with people in some cases, because they don't try to force him into awkward awkward stereotypes. Finally, number 4, he goes back to the perspective of this beautifully drawn mass of dots, this society and general culture of the world, and sings, and if you want to cry, make sure they never see it, or even better yet, block it out and never feel it. This person's sad, we got a tear. Oh wait, but according to Robbie, that's what they've got to do. Or just stuff it down and try to never feel it. Totally repress that stuff, because that always works. So in the end, Boys Will Be Bugs is about a person who is struggling to try to work within culturally assigned gender norms, and I've got to say that there are a lot of problems with gender norms, especially if you get into a situation where a woman is being bullied into not being aggressive and going for something, or a guy is being made fun of for being soft and sentimental and for worrying about, you know, those that need to be taken care of. And so I really appreciate that Robbie's willing to speak up and to talk about, you know, this kind of stuff, especially in reference to values. The place that gender norms really do the very worst thing ever is when they bully us into thinking that we can't have certain kinds of virtues, or that we have to be bad in some way. Like a guy has got to be insensitive and not care about other people, or a woman has to be really like apathetic and afraid and stand back and need somebody else to take care of something for her. And so I think for that reason the message of Bugs Will Be Boys is really, really good. And so I appreciated this song from Cavetown. Hope that you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to check out my explanation of Lemon Boy, which is my favorite song by Cavetown, and then Pigeon, which is one of my favorite songs by Cavetown. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.